Hi, everybody. This is Jenner Kay again. I was looking for shorter, that is around 20-minute videos to share with the participants in my workshop. Run a workshop based on my book, The Enneagram for Recovery, and there were some good ones out, but they were maybe hour and a half long. So I was hoping to cover the virtues and the passions of each Enneagram type because they're so essential for what we think we need and how we go wrong in our relating to life. So I'm going to put up a screen share. You can see the symbol on the Enneagram, and it gives out the virtues and the passions per each type, and then we can take it from there. The Latin root word for passion is passi. It means suffering. So don't think of something great and wonderful like passion for woodworking. It means where we get stuck in our own way of our inflated ego, trying to get what we think we need in life. And they're named for the seven deadly sins plus deceit here in type 3 and fear for type 6. Um, and I'll go over them one by one. Just wanted you to see the figure. And I'll stop sharing now. Okay. So what I wanted to set them in is, let's say, type 8. Well, let's start with the body types. Type 8 there is the body is going to want autonomy, right? It wants to have control over this amount of space, and the emotion that's dominant for the body types is said to be anger. And it may not be an overt display, such for types 9 and for 1, but it's standing against reality. And this is going to get us into trouble. So the type 8 is called Challenger in a lot of Enneagram teachers' schools. And what their basic desire is to have control. And their vice or their passion is called lust. The lust is like a needing to project out in the world in order to make a difference, to be heard, to feel the excitement of feeling other people's energy coming back. And innocence is going undefended into the world. So I'm going to do a reading out of my own book, pages 26 through 29 in the Enneagram for Recovery, and I'll just read and let you know. Here's leader, type 8, lust to innocence. The passion is lust, its power and intensity in all areas of life. Overt aggression to get what you want, the need to be viewed as alpha, looking for betrayal or to prove your strength when there is no real challenge. On low days, it's going out looking for a fight. And parenthetically, my type 8 friends say that that's true for them. The virtue is innocence. It's starting each encounter fresh, knowing that you are strong and no longer needing to prove it, letting down your guard and showing vulnerability to loved ones. So I'll say a little bit more as an example using type 8, and that is, each of our gifts is something so necessary in the world. And we just overdo it when we're in fear and ego. And this power and intensity is a gift that 8 brings to the world, but needing to prove it is by the time it leads into the vice or the passion. Okay, I'll continue for type 9. It's often called the peacekeeper. The passion is called sloth, and the virtue is called right action. And the passion, sloth, it's doing everything besides what you value as most important. So it's not a general laziness. These can be very, very active folks, but it's going along with others to get along, losing sight of your own needs, taking comfort in narcotizing or obsessive behaviors that don't really suit. And the virtue, the opposite of that is right action. It's developing your own criteria for what is important and doing it, staying present in your body, trusting your right to be as you are. So while 8s give themselves free rein to this body energy, 9s tend to squelch it because they're over accommodating in the world. So the opposite action, what's asked for, right action, is getting in touch. How do I feel? What's my body telling me that I need to do right now? It's the right deconstructive action for type 9s. So type 1 then, they're often called a perfectionist, and their um, passion is anger. And the very opposite of that, the virtue is serenity. And you can see the big gap in energy between anger and serenity. Anger, I'm defining as there's nothing wrong with our primary emotion of anger. That quick burst of adrenaline is to keep us safe. But preparing to see what's wrong in yourself and others and rehashing in resentment your mental fixation is your ego. It's black and white thinking, wherein your way is the right way. It's judgmentalism, moral superiority, and rigid plans. And then bringing that back to the virtue that was originally intended in us all serenity, keeping your moral compass, but with compassion for yourself and others, openness, welcoming new ways of doing things, no need to keep score, playfulness. Or as I'm reminded in the serenity prayer, it's the serenity to accept the things we cannot change. So that's the counteract or the antidote then for type one's anger. So let's segue to type two, which is the beginning of the feeling or heart triad. And they are concerned with image and relation. How do I fit in? How are people perceiving me? And the dominant emotion for the feeling types is said to be sadness. And that's when they don't feel that they feel the loss of connection or that they don't have good relations with people. So type two, the passion is they're first of all they're called helper by most schools, and their passion is pride, and their virtue is humility. And many twos would start by saying, I'm not a prideful person. I do so much for others. But let's look into this. The definition of pride that I'm giving is if you don't do the job, it won't get done properly. Needing others to rely on and appreciate you, giving with the hope that others will see what you need without asking. So the vice can be quid pro quo kind of giving. And the virtue, humility, it's your higher power has the plan. It's taking responsibility for your own needs, asking for help and giving without strings out of pure joy. Because if the gift is this full and grateful heart, then by all means keep the giving, but just check in with your motives that you're not giving with the expectation that, oh, somebody will give you back in the same degree. Okay. Type three achiever, their virtue, well, their passion is deceit, and the opposite of that would be veracity or telling oneself the truth. And the deceit is it's self-dishonesty, changing to fit in by adopting the style of different groups to gain recognition. It's needing to be seen as exceptional to feel good enough, seeking the limelight, impatience, using work to cover emotions and losing sight of who you are. And these are all ways where they can just burn themselves out. Deceit is losing track of what's real and important to you. So their virtue is veracity. It's developing an unshakable foundation for life with self-integrity, opening up to the power of feelings, doing without needing recognition, being more patient with less to prove. So again, the gift is this high energy level, seeing what needs to be done, getting to the goal line. But when you do it compulsively, it loses its vibrancy, it loses its essence. And so what the type three person needs is to get real with that oneself. In closing out the feeling triad would be then type four. They're called the individualist, and their passion is envy, and the conversion is to equanimity. Passion of envy, it's seeing what others have as more desirable than what you have. Nostalgia for better times of the past, needing to be unique to feel valued, comparing your insides to others' outsides. So another trademark of type four is feeling like you're the outsider looking in. And the virtue is equanimity. It's feeling yourself in the middle, not better or worse, savoring what you have, knowing who you are with a calmness of heart, not needing to prove any specialness, expanding your creativity to help others, living in the world as it is, enjoying beauty without hiding in sadness. That is, using melancholy to cover up how you might feel left out or that something is lacking. Equanimity means having an even mind and being in balance. So that's a big turnaround and getting back to the gifts that type four is supposed to bring for themselves and for the world. So type 5 is the beginning of the head triad, and the head triad people or people very invested in their thinking center, they're doing it for a sense of certainty in the world. And that's because their dominant emotion is said to be anxiety or fear, even when it's not recognized. And so type 5, the observer, the um, uh, passion is said to be greed or avarice, and the virtue is non-attachment, not detachment, but non-attachment. So passion of greed, it's protecting your space and time against invasion from others, living minimalistically or not asking for help to not be let down or beholden, needing to be thought of as smart to be validated. It's a closed system that scans for what's coming in before giving. And the virtue is non-attachment. It's letting things come and letting things go, trusting that your needs are important and will be met, not withdrawing into your mind, less control and more spontaneity. So by all means, keep the life is beautiful when you can add to it intellectually, but needing to be thought of as smart, that you can hear the compulsive side of that. And non-attachment is more trust in the universe flow, that things come and things go. All right, type 6, they're often called the loyalist. Their passion is fear. Their antidote or virtue is courage. And so fear is, as with anger, primary fear is an honest emotion we all need in the moment, but planning ahead for any contingency. False evidence appearing real, the acronym is fear. Overly dependent or overly suspicious of authority instead of acting out of your own agency. Holding anxiety in your body and expecting the worst are from capital E, ego, inflated ego. Virtue, courage, it's faith that you are secure and can get support as well as give it. Finding a calm place of rest in your mind, going off plan, walking through fear, or as my one type 6 friend says, everything will be all right in the end. And if it's not all right, it's not the end. That's the tapping back into the courage that the type 6 is meant to bring forth into the world. Type 7, adventurer. Their passion is gluttony, not always for food, and sobriety is the antidote. Sobriety is their virtue. So, passion, gluttony, it's being lured by the next temptation at the banquet of life, being restless and afraid of boredom, needing external stimuli to run from pain in search of pleasure, self absorption out of disbelief that you will be taken care of and living in the future. Virtue is sobriety. It's knowing that what you have is enough, perpetual calmness of heart, excuse me, of mind. And then I wrote in parentheses, I see you nodding off. And persistence amid the mundane and knowing that you are being taken care of. So instead of trying to fill the hole with more and more and more, to just calm down and to savor and to know that you will be taken care of in the right timing of the universe. Okay, and that brings us back to type 8. And I just want to say one more thing about type 9 because it holds a special place at the very top of the Enneagram. It says it's the entree point for all of our where we go astray. And it's also the answer to coming home again, where type 9's passion can be said losing sight of self. And so for all of us in the process Enneagram, this is where we all go to a sleep to self and how we all need to come back to prioritizing what we know to be true and right and giving that back to the world. So I hope that gives you some idea of where passions and virtues are just indicators for us on how we've taken what is given to us as our very best, and we've taken it too far, and we need to come back to our own virtue in order to live the best life that we can in the world. I hope you'll join me. I do offer the workshops, as I've said, out of the Enneagram for Recovery book, and you can get that most places. And I'll leave my contact. The email contact is EnneagramJenn@gmail.com, and there's two N's in Jen. So I hope you'll contact me, and then we'll get together and we'll be able to learn from each other. I think the Enneagram is best learned in a group. Okay, thank you. See you next time. Bye.